Hello, it is Topical Tuesday, February 20... What the heck is it? February 26th? February 27th? Brianne is here. Great seeing you, Brianne. What day is it? February something near the end of the month. Anyway, Steve Sipress here on Topical Tuesday, and so I saw this video. Maybe it was while I was flipping through the news/entertainment channels because they're wildly entertaining. Could have been all over social media, but I saw this video last week of these kids that were, and Dog is here, great seeing you. What's today's date, Dog? I don't even know what day it is. Anyway, these brainwashed kids had gone into one of the Congress or senators' people's office, I forget which one, and they were like arguing with her, trying to convince her that, you know, their life was in imminent danger if she didn't support the Green New Deal. Now, for those students of history that don't realize that FDR's New Deal, the original, the actual New Deal, how much that damaged the economy and extended the Great Depression for like 3 times as long as it should have lasted. I mean, that was like so much horrible government intervention where it didn't belong that it just destroyed the economy and kept it crappy for even longer than Obama kept it crappy. I mean, FDR's New Deal just kept it crappy for, I don't know, over a decade. And so this Green New Deal, like, of course, would do the same thing and destroy the economy and not really even solve any kind of problems. I mean, as long as the major polluters of the world are still polluting, just because we would stop or slow down or something, like, big deal. I mean, that's not, you know, to justify the theft of the American citizens' money to combat something that you have really no chance of combating. And besides, it's not the government's job to do it anyway. It's private enterprise that will solve the problem and replace fossil fuels with all kinds of other kinds of fuels, other kinds of energy. I mean, that's what the private sector does. That's what entrepreneurs do. Entrepreneurs are the key to everything in the whole history of the world. But anyway, my point was I was looking at how incredibly brainwashed these kids were, and they were there with one of their teachers, who undoubtedly is somebody who did most of the brainwashing of these kids. But then today, I see on the news that now there were adults. I mean, those are kids. Kind of understand, okay, the little kids are parroting back whatever their ridiculously radical, uninformed teacher is brainwashing them about. But today I saw on the news that either it was earlier today or it was yesterday, a bunch of adults were now arrested, willingly arrested. They were walking out calmly. I think they were even singing on the way out. Couldn't understand what they were singing, but they were happily singing on the way out of storming into protest in some, I forget whose office, another congressperson or senator or somebody. And then there was like, I don't know, dozens of them that were willingly arrested very calmly. I don't think they were violent or anything. They just were calmly walking out, probably wearing T-shirts or had signs or something, protesting some other senator. So now it was adults. And it just reminded me that there are actually millions, tens of millions of adults here in America and around the world that have bought into this incredibly well-done manipulation, hoax, scam, salesmanship, persuasion, influence, whatever you want to call it, of the climate change industry, to actually believe that this is some imminent danger, that the world's going to end in 10 years if we don't, you know, fix the polar ice caps that melted 10 years ago. But no, they didn't melt 10 years ago. And then every time it rains or snows or is hot or cold, they're right. Hey, no matter what happens, like really. So the San Francisco earthquake or the Boston fire or the great, you know, I probably Noah's flood. I mean, the great events of all time in weather, like somehow they're all caused by, you know, Al Gore flying around in his private jet, which, by the way, gives you a clue that of the extent of this brainwashing. Like the people doing the brainwashing, their actions show that even they don't believe that burning up tons of fossil fuels all the time just for their own pleasure and convenience is anything bad. I mean, I personally believe that taking drugs is bad for the human body. I just believe that. Now, and doctors hate me for that, of course. They're like, oh, take an aspirin, take a painkiller. I'm like, no, of course not. And then everyone I know is like, oh, you got some prescription for painkillers. Give me that. I'm going to go get it filled. I'm like, yeah, I don't do any drugs. But if I once in a while, like, took an aspirin or something, maybe somebody would say, well, he really, for the most part, really believes drugs aren't good, but it's an aspirin here or there. What's the big deal? Which I don't even do. But what if I was, just chugging down all kinds of pills and smoking joints every day and mainlining heroin and smoking crack and doing whatever and saying, I believe drugs are not good for the human body. I mean, it's so hypocritical. It's so obvious I don't really believe it. So here you got like Al Gore and a bunch of these others. Al Gore's my favorite because this guy spent his whole life manipulating, persuading, influence, selling as a politician, lying, whatever you want to call it, for his whole life. And then when he, just by the most narrow margin on earth, whether it was stolen or whether he lost the election, whatever it was, he came that close to being president, he lost the election, he probably, wondered what he was going to do for a little while, then immediately he said, I know, I'm going to use those same skills of lying, persuading, selling, manipulating, influencing, whatever you want to call it, to put forth this Kool-Aid to this easily brainwashed people around the world that suddenly every time it rains or snows or is hot or is cold or hurricanes or probably good weather too, anything at all, means the earth is ending and you got to give me lots of money and you got to go see my movie where just about everything he predicted didn't happen. But he's become fabulously wealthy so that he has his private jet and he gobbles up fossil fuels just because he can and because it's convenient, and shows that he clearly does not believe that that's a bad thing, or else he wouldn't do it. And yet people still believe this stuff. So it just got me realizing, look at that. I work with clients and anyone watching this video, and people, and I see a whole bunch of other people here. Jim's here, Rick's here, Tracy's here, David, Jeremy, all kinds of people here. Thanks for being here. But I work with people who are struggling with marketing, promoting, advertising, sales. And I'm like, but look how easy it is to sell. People want to be sold, especially here in America. It's often said it's the national pastime is shopping. Like, people love to buy in America, and there's so much money out there flying around. I mean, even during the Bush crash and the Obama continued recession for 8 years, there was still tons of money flying around. I mean, the economy was depressed and hardly growing at all, but tons and tons of money was being spent. So somebody was selling something, and here is these people that don't believe themselves that the fossil fuels are killing the planet are selling the message that fossil fuels are killing the planet. Just like these socialists like Bernie Sanders and Elizabeth Warren and these 1%ers that are multi-millionaires with multiple homes and all that, and clearly over and over liars, proven, and yet people believe them that, oh, socialism, yeah, it must be a good thing. I mean, people just will believe stuff. You just got to sell it. You got to learn how to sell effectively, and then you've got to sell effectively. Pound your message out there. Are you doing that? Are you marketing, selling, promoting, whatever you want to call it, your business, advertising, all the ways you can get the message out there with all your heart and all your guts, like these flim-flamming politician types do? I mean, that you're seeing, it's always an election season here in the U.S., so you're seeing it over and over and over. They're selling like crazy all the time. They're selling their agenda. If you turn on the news on TV, every single station has an agenda. There's no objective news going on. They're all selling their agenda. If you go to websites, every single one of those is selling an agenda. What are you doing? If you're not making all the money you want to make, and you're not living the lifestyle you want, especially if maybe not even, I don't even mean all the money you want to make, if you're struggling at all, the answer is usually sell your way out of it. Like, do some more effective things. Go back through the archives or stay tuned in the future to my videos, and I'll continue to give you business building tips, mostly on how to sell, market, and advertise your business. And then it's up to you to do that dirty 4-letter word of work and actually get out there and implement and take the action. And then you get to reap the rewards, just like it's happening all around you. You're buying stuff, you're watching people sell stuff, as far-fetched or as ridiculous concepts are, as there's bad products. I mean, you see, somebody's buying Yugos. I mean, you see crappy cars on the street. You see people wearing crappy clothes and buying McDonald's hamburgers. And, there's crappy stuff being sold and being bought like crazy all the time. So get in the game. Get out there and market yourself effectively as hard as you can. Most business owners work really hard on improving their product or their service. Enough already. I assume if you're watching this, you have an excellent product or service. To have an extremely excellent product or service, it's going to take a lot of work to improve it a little bit more. It's not going to make you a lot more money. Taking that excellent product or service and saying it's excellent enough, let's go, and now putting everything you have into the marketing, selling, advertising, promoting of your business. You see the examples out there with the politicians and the hucksters and the climate change fanatics, and you see this all the time. People willingly getting arrested because they bought into the lie and drank the Kool-Aid that the earth is ending in 10 years if some 80-year-old congressperson doesn't vote for some ridiculously damaging piece of legislation. Oh my goodness, how easy it is to convince people to take action when you do the right things. I'll help you do that. And in fact, I'll help you one-on-one if you go to helpfromsteve.com. But you don't have to do that. Just stay posted to these videos and I will help you. And others. I'm not the only one. There's lots of people out there that know all about selling, marketing, advertising, promoting your business. But how much are you going to watch? The real key is take the action. Okay, and that's where if you want my personal help when you're into the action taking, go to helpfromsteve.com, because I've rarely seen anybody, including me, who's able to take action on watching a video or reading a book or going through a course and getting it all right without anybody's help. So I'm offering that help. So that's it. And other people are as well. Get help from somebody, get in the game, and then play it full out. And then even you will have people willingly doing things, willing to do stuff that doesn't even seem to make sense. Like saying, oh, I'm just going to go sing and get arrested in the Capitol building because of something ridiculous that really doesn't affect me at all, and will never happen. Oh my goodness. Anyway, that'll do it for Topical Tuesday. I'll be back tomorrow on World Wide Web Wednesday. I'm going to share a tip. Actually, it's a tip I'm using right now that I got from my good friend, the great Simon Aronowitz, who showed me. You might tell here that even though I'm using my iPhone on a Facebook Live video, if I get closer to my bookshelf here, you'll see that you can actually read the words forwards in the video. That's the tip, how to do that. I'm going to share that with you tomorrow, because until Simon let me know, everything always came out backwards when I shot a Facebook Live video with my phone. So I'm going to share that tip tomorrow to help you to make Facebook Live videos or any kind of videos using your camera with everything facing forward. It's an easy tip, and I'll share it with you tomorrow on World Wide Web Wednesday. And I hope you'll be with me then. Jim is here. Good seeing everybody. Over and out for tonight. Catch you tomorrow. Bye-bye.